I think that we could all agree here that 2023 was the absolute worst year for the Walt Disney Company. One of the biggest examples here is the fact that it so happened to land on their 100th year anniversary. In fact, the very day of their 100th anniversary, I believe it was October 16th, is when the Daily Wire dropped their version of the Snow White trailer featuring Brett Cooper to really kind of show Disney exactly what they are doing for Disney fans that actually grew up with the real version of Snow White, that did not break source material, that did not focus on identity politics or anything related to DEI, or any of that nonsense that Bob Iger keeps spewing and shoehorning into everything related to the Disney company. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, we know that there's a lot of films in the works right now in various stages of development by Disney, whether it's live action material, animated, or just Star Wars / Marvel content, doesn't matter. It is all coming together, and Disney doesn't seem to get a clue at this point that all these films that focus on DEI do nothing but lose money. Alright, we all saw what happened with the Marvels, we saw what happened with Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny, and how that was a lack of creative, of course, vision by Kathleen Kennedy, by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who took part in the script, and even James Mangold. Now, apart from that, though, focusing on Pirates of the Caribbean, the upcoming remake that is not going to be the technical 6th installment in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, or the brand, whatever have you. However, this is where matters get even worse for the upcoming Pirates reboot / remake, or soft reboot, whatever you want to call it. Now, with Bob Iger and the board doubling down on their DEI agenda for everything related to Star Wars, Marvel, and the Disney live action and animated films, one major development now involves more to do with the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean remake. Now, one significant development with this film now has much to do with Disney's plan to butcher the past films that featured Johnny Depp, where Bob Iger delivered the following regarding the upcoming remake. One of our most passionate projects on the table right now is our remake of Pirates of the Caribbean, one of our most valuable projects that we aim to release in the very near future to provide our customers an alternate view into the Pirates world. One goal that we wanted to achieve was how we could retell some of the characters that have already been established in the previous films that could be catered to roles of different genders and those that hold different backgrounds and relationships. We are actively discussing on these revisions to the Pirates world as we are preparing to develop last-minute changes to this evolving story that will cherry-pick from the evolving story, of course, in general, and how we felt it was best to borrow some of the characters from previous films to cater to different genders to deliver something familiar yet new to our audience. We are more than proud to be working with Mr. Mazin on the script and where more films could possibly go afterwards. Our usage of providing already established characters and roles from our previous films to those of different genders and identities will allow our film to become more familiar with different demographics and communities alike. Apart from what Iger said here, however, and what he actually had to deliver, and this all alludes to what has been brewing behind the scenes for Pirates of the Caribbean, which of course Disney is aiming to drop by either 2026 or 27. Guess this, of course, where it stands currently, where two of the side characters are planned to return by name and by design, however fitted for a female-driven role / roles. One crucial update to this is that these characters are described to be Raggedy and Pintel, that will return by name once again in the Pirates reboot with the same character qualities and personalities, however are aimed to fit new actresses' roles that are planned to be unknowns for the upcoming Pirates remake film. Now, the character gender swaps were something that was reportedly pushed by Bob Iger and the rest of the Disney executives that Craig Mazin immediately accepted early on. However, Disney is now doubling down on making it less vague and more front and center. Already, Disney executives are beginning to beg Johnny Depp to return for the new film for a special cameo toward the end of the film. However, both Johnny and his agent have reportedly been shooting down the offer endlessly after what happened with Amber Heard and how Disney fired him shortly after from Pirates of the Caribbean 6. In addition to this, the gender-swapped characters Raggedy and Pintel are planned to be a major part of the Pirates reboot that will focus on DEI further. Now, guys, let me just say one thing about this. Now, obviously, this is exactly what Bob Iger has been alluding to all along. You guys may remember a couple of weeks ago that he did hint about this, that they will be cherry-picking from some of the established characters by name and their personalities, stuff around those lines. I think that's why they consider this movie a quote-unquote a soft reboot per se, because you're going to have some characters that will hold the same exact names of the previous movies. And I think that this is yet another example that Disney does not care about quieting down the noise, that Bob Iger is nothing more than a liar, as he always has been, alright? Now, we all know where he started as a weatherman, and basically here he is as the Disney CEO that is just crumbling the company year by year. A lot of people have been, even debating whether or not he is intentionally destroying Disney. That's up for discussion below in the comments. That's all up to you guys as well. However, let's of course move on here. Now, these two character swaps are also planned to hold different backgrounds and relationships than the previously installed characters from the other films that starred Johnny. Now, the Walt Disney Company already is reportedly aiming for the budget of this film to be around, get this, $400 million plus, making it significantly higher than the budget for Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. And we all know how that turned out. They lost so much money on that film because not only did they pour so many different, funds into the sets, into the CGI used, and everything related to the marketing of Indiana Jones 5, which was a complete waste, but there were also various reshoots which cost extra. And that was all demanded by Kathleen Kennedy, and wrongfully so. That was not even needed. In fact, there were multiple endings for this film that were actually created that went to a complete waste. But focusing away from Indiana Jones 5, that's just an example of how you have a high-budget movie like that lost so much money because people just did not want to go ahead and see a film like this that really just pretty much came across as a cheap move by Disney to make money. Just like what's happening right now with The Lion King Mufasa, the prequel to The Lion King remake in 2019, the live-action adaptation. So again, like I say, Bob Iger is not stopping with DEI, no matter what you hear about him spewing out garbage like quieting down the noise, or that Disney is not agenda driven, or that they are not about a culture war, where it actually is all about that. It's all about ideology over art, not art over ideology. And at the end of the day, it's going to hurt Disney in the end, to the point where they really truly hit rock bottom, where they're going to have no choice but to actually do a complete 180, and immediately so. And even then, I think it'll only be a temporary thing for them to only, of course, go back to their old ways, like how they are doing it now. So overall, everything related to the Pirates of the Caribbean remake sounds like a complete disaster. I would love to hear your input below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.